I literally, wow, I was like in the air for like a second. I'm like, whoa. Actually, you know what? I just realized even if something bad like that were to happen, I could always just simply, delete that footage. But then again, it would make for good content. I don't know. But I do know is that I have a low and high and active kindness to talk about. My low, pretty straightforward. It snowed last night. Man, we aren't even a full week into the new year, and we already got snow. Now I'm over-exaggerating a little bit. I mean, the snow is sticking, but it's not like super deep or whatever. I'd say about maybe half to 3/4 of an inch. I'll be honest, I have no idea how these snow measurements work. But needless to say, we are definitely in winter now, for sure. Unfortunately, we're going to get weather that's pretty consistent like this. And make matters worse, spring, even if we do get all the way to March 21st, I think that's when spring is this year. That's when it always is. Like somewhere between the 20th and the 23rd, that's when spring is. Like, even if we get there, it still won't be guaranteed to be warm. It'll just be slightly warmer, I guess. But then again, we could always have freak weather that no one can ever explain. We've all been there before. Excuse me. So, well, my high was that the Go Big Show came on last night, which I will be talking about with great detail, at least to my knowledge. And my act of kindness was, well, here's the thing. I guess you can consider this, I'll consider this an act of kindness. I called my mom and talked to her a little bit. I was talking about the Go Big Show with her. It was great. It was fun. But, yeah, it is actually kind of fitting. I pretty much spent this entire week talking about the greatest Jim Carrey movies of the 90s. Actually, I should say the greatest Jim Carrey movies of 1997 or whatever year all three came out of the same year. The point is, honestly, talking about the Go Big Show seems appropriate to do. Because let's say that the Go Big Show existed in, say, Ace Ventura's universe or the Mask universe, or really any of those movies, even Dumb and Dumber, you would see Jim Carrey's character on that show. It literally just occurred to me that's probably what would happen. I don't know what Lloyd Christmas would do. The Mask would pretty much wind up doing anything. And then there's Ace. Well, he is a pet detective, great with animals. He probably could have, rounded up a stampede or something. That'd be going big. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Yes, I finally get to talk about the Go Big Show after a year of not being back on, which for a long time I kind of wondered why we don't really get a show like this more than once a year. Because sometimes, shows like The Voice or America's Got Talent, those shows, they can come out, or The Masked Singer even, they all come on more than once a year. But the Go Big Show, I was trying to piece together, I can tell you why, because the stunts they have cost hundreds of millions of dollars to put all together. So it's no surprise that, don't get me wrong, $100,000 is a great prize to win, but it's nothing like the $1 million you get from winning AGT. But again, I'll talk about AGT if and when we get to it, which should be, when does America's Got Talent come back? I don't know. Probably not until April or May or something, but it's still a long way away, I guess. But I guess something like, just get to talking about the acts already. I'm getting there. Hold on. Okay. So if you've never seen the Go Big Show, the format is there are 6 acts per episode. And the acts are picked at random to go head to head. And the winner of those 2 acts gets to move on. Although this season, what they're doing is, if an act has been eliminated, the fans have an opportunity to pick like sort of an honorary winner by the end of the season, and that winner gets like 10 grand. So I just hope that the acts that lost last night were popular. Actually, one of those acts is, I'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's get to the first head-to-head, which was Iceman and the Iron Jaw. Now, I'll talk about the one who lost before I talk about the guy who won. So, Iron Jaw was the one who lost, which I'll just say right off the bat, on any given day, either one of these 2 acts would win. I could even see them both making it to the finals. That's how good they were. But what Iron Jaw did is, he's an acrobatic, aerialist kind of person, and he was able to hang himself using only a leather strap while in midair with his jaw. And he arranged it so while he was in the air, there'd be a basketball hoop over his head. He would use his feet to kick a ball into the hoop. Again, while he's still hanging from his jaw. I can't make that up. Again, you would think that act would win it all, right? Well, it was impressive, but the Iceman literally broke a Guinness World Record. Yeah. He's called the Iceman because he is a strongman winner, like world's strongest man type guy, and his talent is he can break giant blocks of ice. And he broke his Guinness World Record for most amount of blocks of ice being broken in under a minute. Now keep in mind, his original record was 88. So close to a block of ice a minute. He, no pun intended, shattered it and now the new record is 96, which is a little bit more than a block and a half of ice per per second. Excuse me. I said less than a block and a half. Before he broke the record, 88 would have been less than 1.5 blocks of ice per second. Now it's literally more than a block and a half of ice per second. Thank you. That's it. So yeah, Iceman, he got to move forward. The next act was like literally water versus fire. I know it's probably clear who won, but bear with me. It was Dr. Splash, and yeah, that's the actual name, Dr. Splash. And this one, he's also sort of like a circus guy who works like the giant hoops that you see at the circus. That guy set the ring, literally set the ring he was using on fire, like spinning round. It was awesome. Like the fire was like inches away from his face and his entire body. And obviously he was shirtless, ladies. So, yeah, it was hot both literally and metaphorically. I'm not going to lie. But I got to say, I think Dr. Splash winning the way he did, he not only used water, but he actually used fire too. I'll explain. See, Dr. Splash, in his youth, because he's 60 years old, he was like a professional high diver. He actually has like a whole bunch of world records too. And like a few years ago, he broke his neck and so he had to have surgery and he couldn't do it for a while. Like this dive was the first time he was doing anything like this in years. So what he did is he goes to the top of the high dive, like literally holding himself back like this. Seriously, like the narrow ledge that he's standing on is about barely the size of both of my feet put together. That's how narrow this was. And he's wearing like a fireproof costume. A fireball shoots up at him. And everyone's like, wow! And keep in mind, he's still very high in the air. He has yet to jump into the water. So after he's lit on fire, he then jumps into the water. I mean, how else do you put out a fire, right? I'll tell you what, though, when it comes to putting out a fire, that's a pretty big way to do it. And yes, that pun was very intended. So, yeah, Dr. Splash seemed really cool. Not to mention, of all the contestants we've seen so far, and granted we've only seen one episode, he's easily got the most swagger. Like, he literally walks up on stage and he's like, you guys don't know this, but I'm going to win. I'm like, wow. Okay. All right. Touche, Dr. Splash, touche. And then the final act. Now, I mentioned earlier there was one act that I actually do know about. Because I actually have seen this person on YouTube before. Her name is Molly Schuyler. And she has many records, many records, for being the fastest speed eater in the world. Definitely for a woman, too. I know at least it's definitely for a woman. Seriously, she has like a YouTube channel and everything. I actually have seen it before. Yeah, I probably should have explained. There's a lot of channels I like and subscribe to on YouTube. It'd be impossible for me to do them all in the span of a month, so sorry. Anyway, but seriously, you should check out Molly Schuyler. She's incredible. Her act was, in under 90 seconds, she ate a pound of baked beans, a pound of coleslaw, a pound of mac and cheese, a pound of deviled eggs, mixed that all together, ate that, and then there was one more pound of cottage cheese. And she still had 22 seconds left when it was all gone. And she's literally scraping the bowl to get everything out that she can. Listen, I will admit, those who know me know I'm actually a pretty fast eater myself. And I really can't stand to eat a lot of food myself. But I'm not doing that. Especially when that combination of food isn't really that appealing to me. I mean, stuff like baked beans and coleslaw, if they're there and those are literally the only options I have. Because I'll be honest, if I'm like a barbecue or a get-together and stuff like that, I never go for the beans and coleslaw. Ever. I just go for quite literally the meat and anything else that's not a cold salad or beans. That's literally what I do. So my point is, I do like baked beans and coleslaw, but you will never see me actively go for them at any point. Unless for baked beans, it's my late great aunt's sloppy beans. Basically, it's her sloppy Joe recipe mixed with baked beans. That's actually really good. I like that. I'll go for those. But maybe I should do a Mom Food Chronicle on that. And maybe another time. Anyway, the other food she had. Now, mac and cheese, I love mac and cheese. I would eat the mac and cheese, for sure. And deviled eggs. You know, for many years, there's a long time I would never eat deviled eggs. Literally, no kidding, Easter of 2018, 90 days after I started making videos daily, was the first time I ever had deviled eggs. It was actually Easter Sunday of all times. And I liked them. I like deviled eggs. Now I really will go for, well, here's the thing. Fresh deviled eggs. If deviled eggs have been sitting out for a while, as pretty much anyone else will tell you, yeah, no thank you. I mean, yeah, you can always put back in the refrigerator before they get too bad, but come on, you want to have, deviled eggs are one of those things that were made to be eaten as soon as possible. For sure. Like, you make them for a party, and that's what you do. The cottage cheese, I'm staying away from for sure. Seriously, of all those things I didn't even look at, the cottage cheese, ugh. Seriously, what? How is that even cheese? I mean, I shouldn't say that. Maybe, well, truth be told, as a foodie myself, I really have only really explored stuff like eating cheese in the last 4 years. Because seriously, up until I was like 27 and a half, I never went for anything that was like pepper, like raw, like not raw, but like cheese plates and sharp. I would have stayed away from those completely. Well, that's not sorry. I mean, sometimes they have like grapes and nuts. I would have eaten those. But my point is like, well, for one thing, I've come a particularly long way in terms of the things I like to eat. But more importantly, like altogether, at best, you have a 3, maybe 4 out of 5 in terms of the foods of those that she ate that I would eat. And what she did was impressive, but it was never going to beat the ultimate winner of that head-to-head, which was Chris Carter, I think his name is. And he did not 1, but 2 giant jump motorcycle tricks. Yeah, not for nothing, but not even the best speed eater in the world can beat that. So, yes, our 3 main contestants going on to the semifinals are the Iceman, Dr. Splash, and Chris Carter. For a second, I almost want to call him Jimmy Carter, but no, Jimmy Carter was a former president of the United States. No, this is Chris Carter. All 3 acts, very, very, very good. And I have to say, I wonder how they're going to be ante for round 2, for the semifinals. But we won't know that until probably mid-February, because there's 36 acts altogether, 6 acts a night, meaning you're going to have obviously 6 episodes with 3 winners from each episode. Bring that down to 18, so essentially cut it in half. And then you would divide that into 3 as well, making it 6. And then you have like 1 winner from each of those. You get the final 3 or something, plus a wild card. I think that's how it works. I honestly can't. I mean, you have to bear with me. It's been a year since I've seen the show. Literally. Because, again, it's a new season. But honestly, I don't feel too bad for the one that actually lost. Because again, the fans have an opportunity to make them like the honorary winner, give them 10 grand. So, yeah. Good luck to anyone really good luck to anyone who's on this show. And I also have to give major shout outs to the host himself, Bert Kreischer, Cody Rhodes, Rosario Dawson, Jennifer Nettles, and of course, the guy who replaced Snoop Dogg, T-Pain. I love me some T-Pain. Don't get me wrong, no one will ever replace Snoop Dogg in my heart, but that does not make T-Pain any less awesome. I want to reiterate that. I love those 2 guys. I love them equally. They're awesome. Although I will say that I'd rather have, T-Pain. Oh, actually, here's the thing. Snoop Dogg is the person I idolize more because, seriously, if I ever saw Snoop Dogg in real life, I would literally bow to him, yelling, "What is thy bidding, my liege?" That's what I would do for Snoop Dogg. I would do that for T-Pain too. Who am I kidding? Really, I would do that to any one of my heroes. And literally, the host, Bert Kreischer, and those judges, those people are my heroes. Really, anyone who's able to do any of those tricks on the show is my hero too. You could say I have very low standards. Or perhaps they are very high. They're just relatively easy to reach. Think about it. Like, favorite, chat, subscribe button, follow me on social media, on YouTube. I am very home in this video for all of you guys who are watching Joe today. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, for those who want to talk to channels, we'll be here to lend us right back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day, and I got to plow through the snow. See ya.